How is your mental health, really? That's not a throwaway question. It's one we rarely answer honestly, because most of us have learned to say, I'm fine, I'm just busy, or I'm a bit tired. And then we carry on. I'm 65 now, and I've worked in policing, I've built businesses, I've led teams, and I've created courses on happiness and well-being. But here's something I want to say clearly. For large parts of my life, I was overwhelmed. Not dramatically, not collapsing in public, just constantly carrying too much, with a pressure to perform, and pressure to provide, and a pressure to stay strong. And like many men and many women, I didn't talk about it. I worked harder instead. I pushed through. I normalised stress. Let me also be clear about something important. I'm not a clinically qualified mental health professional. I'm not here to diagnose. I'm not here to treat. What I am is someone with decades of lived experience of what silent strain feels like. I know what it's like to feel tired but unable to rest, feel angry but not know why, feel detached but still show up, feel anxious before meetings and call it just pressure. Over time I began to understand something. Mental health rarely collapses in one dramatic moment. It erodes quietly, through silence, through suppression, through pretending. And often, especially for men, we're conditioned to endure, with expressions like man up, get on with it, don't complain. But suppression isn't strength, it's survival. And survival has a cost. That's why I created a free guide. Yes, it was written for employers, because workplaces matter. But the message inside it is for people like you. And it talks about psychological safety, why men struggle in silence, why some people want structure, not sympathy, why identity and work can become tangled, and what practical support can actually look like. It applies just as much to women as it does to men. Overwhelm doesn't discriminate. So if you're constantly tired, if you're more irritable than you used to be, if you're withdrawing, if you're working longer hours to avoid feeling, if something just feels off, this isn't weakness, it's a signal, and signals are invitations, not to panic, but to pause. You don't have to be in crisis to deserve support. You don't have to be falling apart to check in with yourself. And you don't need a diagnosis to start becoming more aware. The guide is completely free. You can download it quietly and read it privately. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. But please, don't keep carrying everything alone simply because you think you should. Sometimes the bravest thing we can do is admit we're not as fine as we say we are. The link appears on screen. Please make a note of it and start there. And most importantly, be honest with yourself about how you're really doing.